Taken by the medieval brute, desperate MILFs. Milf Erotica, breeding erotica. Copyright 2022 by Tori Westwood. Written by Tori Westwood and narrated by Jett. Taken by my medieval brute, desperate MILFs. Our settlement lay on the northeast of England, close to the coast. We knew that every day was a gamble, and with all the men over 20 off at war, the village was without its biggest and best defenders. My neighbour's son, Neville, was the greatest we had to offer. He was looming over 6 feet, and months of chopping wood and being well fed by the women of the village had seen him develop a substantial set of muscles for a man who was only 19 years old. After his mother died to childbirth some years ago, everyone cared for him, but I was close to her and felt an added pressure to take care of him. We had long heard of Viking raids and knew that every day was a gamble. We had heard stories of their brutality and surprise. When the day finally came to meet them, well, we certainly were left surprised. It was the horns that awoke us at first. Dawn had barely broken. When I sat up in bed to that ominous sound, I knew that day could be my last. I ventured quickly out of the hut and went straight to Neville's. He lived in one close by. When I entered, he was dressing quickly. I saw those muscled buttocks of his get covered by his tattered pants. He grabbed his sword from his bed chest and turned to the door with a scowl. "No," I begged. "No, they'll slaughter you." That's when we heard the roars from the invading horde. Neville rushed outside and I followed. The scene around us was one of immediate carnage. Roofs were ablaze, women fled screaming, and the Vikings... Well, the Vikings didn't do much, truth be told. They just kind of roared and prowled intimidatingly, and the village folk screamed and cried in response, as though our roles were already mapped out from the beginning. Neville and I were confused. He looked to me, and then at an approaching Viking berserker whose tongue was out as he screamed and ran closer. Neville didn't flinch, and soon the berserker was upon him, screaming directly into his face. Still, Neville did nothing, and neither did the Viking. It was as though his bluff had been called early, and he had no backup plan. "Sir," he cried, looking back but keeping one eye on us. "Sir, we have a problem."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?